So here we go. Yeah, thank you, Ponk. So I'm just waiting for the countdown, and good luck to the runners. You'll see some really cool tech. Zeni, in particular, will be doing the moon dance, I assume. The others will be doing more of a traditional. Let's go get stuff in Norfair, return to Brinstar and pick up more stuff, and then go back down to Norfair. So at least that's what I expect. They could surprise me. Okay, just trying to find out how the countdown's going to be happening here. Here we go. They've taken care of it themselves. Ponk, of course, with the infamous or famous lat timer. First thing we're going to do, this is seen in almost every regular category, the Cirrus Station fight. What the runners are going to do is they're going to run down to Cirrus Station, they're going to run down to Ridley. Instead of trying to beat Ridley, which is doable, 100 shots will kill him. However, it is much faster to just go ahead and let him damage you down. So I'll take a little bit of a breather while they're waiting. And here we go. Once they're getting to that beeping stage, below 30 energy, Ridley will fly away and they're going to run out. Ponk and Sloaters using the Japanese text. Ponk likes to use that. Let's pretend it actually makes it a little faster, but it doesn't. Let's see who gets out first. Sloaters with a 46, Ponk with a high 44. I missed Zeni's. So all doing very nice jobs getting out of Cirrus Station. I'm sure Zeni was around a 45 since he got out basically the same time as the other two. And now we get to the planet. So this will start out much like any other run. They're going to go down and get that morph ball. They're going to get their bombs. And then things won't start really changing. Actually, Zeni is going to might change up a little bit sooner. There's that ceiling E-tank that he uses a continuous wall jump to try and pick up. It's a very difficult trick, and we'll see if he goes for it in this race. I don't know if he's going to go for it or not. Ponk and Zeni both using the Moonfall. Sloaters doesn't like to use that Moonfall. Messes up his boss fight, so he doesn't use it. Basically, that allows you to use the Moonwalk to uncap your falling speed. And so you would have seen that Zeni and Ponk fell much faster through that shaft than Sloaters did. And we have the Morph Ball, probably the most important item you get in Super Metroid. The one item you absolutely cannot beat the game without. Now they're going to go down and pick up these missiles so they can go through the red door. And we'll see if Zeni's going to go for that E-tank now. Ponk and Sloaters will go straight back up. Oh, here we go. We're going to go for the continuous wall jump. So this is a very precise jump that he's going to do to try and pick up that ceiling E-tank. The normal way to get it would be either to come back here after you have high jump boots or to do a damage boost off the enemies that show up here after the planet completely wakes up. But since the planet is not completely woken up, he has to use this method to try and get it. And basically, he's trying to wall jump off that little thing that's shining on him. I'm probably not quite doing the strat justice. He could explain it much better. I do know it's very, very difficult. We'll see how many times he tries it before he either gets it or he gives up on it. Meanwhile, Ponk and Sloaters making their way up the parlor area. Very close together. And that's right, Sephi. It is considered TAS only. It's TAS and Zeni only. There, and he gets it. Took a bunch of tries, but it was really cool that he could show that off here. So it's going to put him a little bit behind. However, he's going to do other things that are going to make his overall run much faster than the other two. We'll see the moon dance in a bit, and that's going to save him some time because he's only going to have to go into Norfair once. So the key in BT, you want to have full energy when you start that fight so that when he shoots off those balls, those little eggs, you can get missiles out of them and make very quick work of BT, sorry, Bomb Chorizo. GT is later, that's Golden Chorizo. And Zeni doing a very nice wall jump climb. Yeah, Sloaters and Punk picking up that E-Tank at almost exactly the same time. So very, very close between the two of them. And they're going to missile the Space Pirates here to conserve energy. They've got some nasty hell runs upcoming. Because when they get to those heated rooms in Norfair, they're not going to have a suit. Because in order to get the Various suit, you have to beat Kraid, and that would mess up the idea of reverse boss order, since Kraid has to go last. Zeni also making quick work of Bomb Chorizo. And Pocket and Slow is doing a nice job with the most important mock ball. There are actually going to be two. Eventually, they will have to mock ball to get the ice beam, or at least Zeni will. I believe Ponk and Sloaters will get that after they get the speed booster. We'll see. But that mock ball allows them to skip Spore Spawn. The intended way the game has for you to get super missiles is to fight a boss called Spore Spawn that not only is annoying but very slow. And Sloater's doing a very nice job getting the reverse mock ball to get out. We'll see if Ponk goes for that as well. He does, and he gets it. Has a very difficult mock ball. Most people can do the one in. Most people can't do the one out. But anyway, they're not going to get any suits, so they're going to be doing hell runs through Norfair. Because those rooms are all heated and they will constantly be taking damage in the rooms that have heat. And Ponk and Slayer is going to head to Big Pink. And we're about to see, actually, after Zeni picks up his early supers, we'll see the biggest route divergence that we're going to see here. You'll notice they did all pick up that reserve tank. A little less important for Zeni. He's going to have more E-tanks when he goes into those Norfair hell runs. For Sloaters and Ponk, they're only going to have 2 full E-tanks, so they need that reserve tank in order to get through the cathedral area and those heated rooms for those hell runs. And we'll see what I mean when we get there. While it is possible to get through those rooms with just 2 energy tanks, I've only seen it once done by Behemoth, and that was with some very, very lucky drops. Okay, you'll notice Zeni's not quite running through this room. So what he's going to do is he's going to set this up Notice he's bombing the middle and not the end. He's going to get himself stuck in this wall here. And he's going to do what's called a moon dance, which basically is a bunch of moonfalls. I forget what the actual number is, but he's going to be doing this for a couple minutes. And what it's going to do is going to allow him to clip through the power bomb blocks in the previous room in the green Brinstar area in order to go down to the Edecoons. And that way he can get power bombs, which will allow him to pick up a whole bunch more stuff in the big pink area and get more E-tanks for his Norfair run. Floaters and Ponk, meanwhile, going ahead and farming up. They want to fill up that reserve tank because they're going to need it. And notice skipping Crade, so shout outs to them for remembering to skip Crade. So we're going to pick up these high jump boosts, pick up the E-tank that's there. So Zeni got the moonfall or the moonwalk done, moon dance done. That will allow him now to clip through this. There you go. Clips right through it. Very nicely done. He's going to pick up that E-tank and pick up the supers behind. So if you're wondering why they have to pick up so much ammo, because since they do have charge beam, one of the things that they're going to use the ammo for is not just for killing enemies. They're going to be using it for crystal flashes later on when we get into those heated rooms. And for a crystal flash, you need 10 missiles, 10 super missiles, and 11 power bombs. You need one power bomb to lay a power bomb, and then it'll take away 10 of each ammo type. So you'll see them picking up a lot of super missiles that you don't see them pick up and power bombs that you don't see picked up in normal runs in any percent, or in particular in any percent runs. And now you see Sloaters and Punk in their first hell runs, you notice using some pseudo screw action. And what that is, you hold the charge beam and you get the same effect the screw attack gives, makes you invincible. Now going through the Rising Tide room, which is one of the most difficult rooms, and they're both going to pop those reserve tanks. The reason you open those manually, when they go off automatically, you will be continually taking damage as you are getting refilled, and so you won't get the full effect of them. This floater's a little bit better off before going to this farm station. It's a little bit faster to use bombs here. So that's what they do. And now they're going to go pick up their speed booster. Meanwhile, Zeni now, because he has those power bombs, is able to get into this area we call the wave gate. And he's going to use a super missile to open that gate. Using a normalized setup by he used that moonwalk to go against the wall, do a quick turnaround jump to the ledge, and then another quick turnaround jump to shoot. So he keeps himself hugged to the wall, and he managed to get that first try. So that's another one of those E-tanks. He's gonna have a little easier time with the hell runs because he's gonna have this E-tank. So he's got a total of 4 now, and he'll get 1 more at the high jump boots. There is another E-tank in this area at the waterway area, below this charge beam item. However, he can't get that with that speed booster, so that's not an E-tank that he'll be getting. And Sloaters and Ponks is successfully getting their speed booster. Now coming to probably the most difficult of the upper Norfair hell runs. This double chamber area they're about to enter has ended many an RBO run. Hopefully these guys make it through okay. Just those jumps can be very tricky. And then they're going to do a wall jump off of the back area of the spikes here to get up to the wave beam. I call this the biggest sequence break of a normal any percent run because the game does not intend for you to wave beam until you've gone down, beaten Croc, No, so till you've gone up with the ice beam and gotten your power bombs with the alpha power bomb site, and then gone down to beat Croc, get your grapple beam, and come back here. Ponk not manually opening that reserve tank, so hopefully he should be okay. He looks like he's got enough to get out, as long as he doesn't get hit by enemies, and he's just fine. Sloater's also getting out with a little more health. Okay, so now Sloaters and Ponk, they're going to head down to Crocomire. Down there, you get your grapple beam, which they'll want to have for Suitless Maridia, which is going to come up later. And they also get an E-Tank down there. Meanwhile, Zeni picking up the Spazer beam. This will give them more output for the Ridley fight, since they won't be able to get Plasma Beam until after they fight Dragon. They're not going to be able to have Plasma Beam for the Ridley fight, so you pick up the Spazer beam in order to have a little more firepower. Crocomire is one of the more interesting mini bosses in Super Metroid. He doesn't have an actual number of HP, but each 100 HP will take him back, I believe, 1 or 2 steps. So what the runners are going to do here is they're going to use ammo or charge beam to push him back as far as they can, and eventually he's going to fall into that acid. If they're not careful, though, if they don't get shots in, he can actually start going forward again and really mess with the runners. This especially can be difficult if you don't have the charge beam. Of course, they do, this being a vanilla setup. Then they make the jump through the acid to pick up that energy tank. Ponk doing a wraparound shot so that he's going to be able to shine spark through the door here. Basically, there's a copy of each of these rooms, and sometimes you can open the door by shooting in a very precise place, and this will allow him to get some more power bombs, get his first power bombs actually pretty easily. Did not see if Sloaters went for that or not. Fortunately, there's a few different ways to get to those power bombs if you don't do it this way. And Sloaters did open the door. And they get across with no problem. Pick up these early power bombs. This is commonly in a lot of hundo runs, people get these power bombs first, even though they are not the intended first power bombs. The intended first power bombs being up red tower on the right side of it. And Ponk making the leap to get using the speed booster to get his grapple beam. Sloater's right behind him. And that grapple beam is going to be very important, and actually for a couple reasons. They're going to use it in their Suitless Maridia portion, since they're not going to get Gravity Suit in this run. But they're also going to use it to farm when they get to Lower Norfair. And it's a much more effective farming method than any other method they're going to have. Okay, so now you see the difference of having those extra E-Tanks. So Zeni's got 5 E-Tanks to burn to get through to Bubble Mountain, and you notice he has 274 HP left, which is about what these guys had total available to them. So then he's using the ice beam to good use since he already picked that up. And uses it to get up Bubble Mountain. And now Ponk and Sloaters are going to leave Norfair. I suspect they're going to pick up their ice beam first. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to... Oh, Ponk just opens the door. He'll pick up his ice beam on his way back. Zeni picking up his speed booster. And you'll notice Zenny's doing what we call skating there. There is a glitch in the game. The game can't quite handle the speed booster animation and sound at the same time as having the heat room damage sound. And so sometimes you get that little glitch where you're not quite running, you're more skating. It's actually something that had to be patched out of the randomizer games so that wouldn't happen. Ponk making very quick work up Red Tower. Sloaters right behind him. They're going to do a bunch of cleanup here. They're going to pick up more energy tanks for the lower Norfair part of this run. But you can see where the biggest advantage, the two big advantages of doing that early moon dance is one, these having more E-tanks for these early hell runs. But also he has the advantage of he's not going to have to leave Norfair. He's going to, once he picks up all his stuff here, he's going to pick up his stuff in the Bubble Mountain area. Then he's going to go down, pick up the stuff if he needs a croc, and then he's going to head straight down to lower Norfair. Whereas Ponk and Sloaters are already way back in Brinstar, picking up items that Zenny's either skipped or has already picked up. And see that E-tank becomes very easy when you have high jump boots. Yeah, I see some discussion in chat how much of this is intended. I do believe that Nintendo or the Deer Force guys intended for Norfair to be available without a suit. Otherwise, why have a crystal flash at all? And those E-tanks are spaced very nicely so that you can pick them up for a free refill. It's a little more questionable for the Maridia section because there's a lot of glitches that we use for the Maridia section. And Zenny going in for his croc bite. Honk using a nice D-boost to get through those, and the Shine Spark echoes to get through those enemies. Picking up that super missile. That's not a super missile you typically see in an any percent run. And Sloater's also doing a nice job getting over there. As I said, they're going to be picking up a whole lot of super missiles that you don't normally see. Okay, and Ponk not going to pick up the Gauntlet E-Tank. It is an option. There are, and I will point out, there are a lot of different routes that one can use. There are some people that will pick up the Gauntlet E-Tank, for instance. There are some people that will actually pick up a bunch of stuff in Maridia just to have more extra HP in order to get through this run. But we have three of the best here, so they don't need to pick up all that stuff. Okay, so now Zenny's got enough power bombs to do a crystal flash. He's not going to need it right now, but he'll have them when he needs it. He's going to pick up his grapple beam. And as Ponk picks up the Edakun's energy tank, that was the one that Zenny went down to get with the Moon Dance. Gonna pick up these supers as well. And Soda's doing a nice mock ball into this room for the supers. And they are going to fall down the Edakun pit on purpose because they want the power bombs up there that Zenny picked up as his first power bombs. Zenny going to farm up a little bit before he heads down. He's basically ready to go down to lower Norfair. So yeah, to answer the question in chat, yeah, reverse boss order in this case refers only to the so-called G4 bosses. So they are going to start off with Ridley. They have not killed Kraid yet. So you notice they don't have a Varia suit because they're still in that yellow suit instead of the nice orange suit that the Varia gives them. They're actually not going to pick up any suits because by the time they get to those suits, they're actually not going to be worth the time to pick them up. There is a category that's a heavily glitched category that does start with Mother Brain. Ponk actually is very good at that category. Has the world record in that category, reverse boss mini boss, where you do start with Mother Brain using some shenanigans with the X-ray scope to get there quickly. And yeah, to answer the other question, yeah, Zeni does a different route. He does a trick called a moon dance, which allows him to get power bombs earlier, which allows him to get more of the Brinstar stuff that Ponk and Sloaters are picking up right now. And because of that, he doesn't need to go to Norfair and leave, go back to Brinstar and come back. And that last jump that Zenny did, he takes advantage of that reserve tank. Because that reserve tank popped right while he was in his jump, it actually allows him to preserve that jump and get all the way up instead of having to do that one extra little wall jump there. Okay, and yeah, this is exactly where RBO truly begins. Because there are not the only rooms in Lower Norfair that are not heated are the energy refill room at GT, uh, the save room, and the Fireflies room. The first thing Zenny's going to do is a green gate glitch. He's going to open this gate from the reverse, gets it first try. Those gates meant to be opened from the front side. He's going to refill, pick up that screw attack, and then he's going to actually fight GT because he wants those super missiles for extra crystal flash ammo. Ponk going for that waterway E-tank. This is one that he's often skipped in his runs. Looks like he's going to route it back in for a race situation. What he has to do is do a short charge up here on the top, carry it down to the bottom, and do an actual shine spark through the wall. And he gets it. Sloater is going to do the same. Fun fact, that ledge that they're short charging on is actually exactly the length you would need to do a full spark. So you could actually run all the way across from the end and get a shine spark there without doing the short charge. But it's a little quicker, and if you're good at short charging, a little bit easier to do it the way they did it. So Zenny now in his Golden Chorizo fight. That spot that he's standing at is the perfect spot. He will not take any damage there. So he can just stand there forever and fire those charge shots. And he uses that grapple beam to pick up the drops. It's a little bit quicker than picking up normal. And he's going to go refill at the refill station again. And notice he turned off the ice and spacer. That means he's going to start his Ridley fight off with an X Factor. It's one of our special beam attacks. It's going to use up a power bomb. Basically, hold the charge down with power bomb selected, and when you let go, it's going to go into that X Factor mode. And you'll see that. I believe Ponk is going to do that as well. I'm not sure if Sloaters uses the X Factor in this run. So Zenny doing a nice job getting fast pillars with the speed booster. A screw attack making worse room to gain a lot easier than it would otherwise be. Still pretty bad though because you're constantly losing damage. And now for a room that is very dangerous in this run. The acid is going to start rising. If you fall in that acid without a gravity suit, that's it. You're just going to die. With the gravity suit, you can get out because you can still move through it even though you're taking damage. Zenny's going to get to the Firefly room. Like I said, it's the one other room that does not have heat damage. And he's going to pick up an E-tank here. And this is what I'm talking about when I say the E-tanks are just spaced out. The fact that this one room is not heat damage leads me to believe that it was fully intended that one could do this without Varia. Also, knowing that that E-tank at Ridley is a thing that they're going to pick up. And now Ponk and Sloaters are also going to head towards Lower Norfair. And Sloaters taking a safety save. So yeah, so the reason why Zeni's so far ahead is he uses a slightly different route than the other runners that allows him to get power bombs much earlier by using a strat we call the Moon Dance. And so that puts him in, allows him to get all the stuff he needs before he goes into Norfair and does not have to leave Norfair to get more stuff in Brinstar. And Ponk resetting. I did not see where he saved. Okay, he saved at the same spot that Sloaters did. Okay, Zeni making quick work of those ninja pirates, using a speed echoes trick where he shines sparks in just the right spot, and it gets each pirate separately. And don't kid yourself, this route that Sloaters and Ponkus are taking is a very dangerous route. They will have more E-tanks. You'll notice they have the same number of E-tanks as Zeni, because they did pick up that waterway E-tank that Zeni couldn't get. But Zeni's already picked up the Firefleet E-tank. Okay, so now we're going to see that Crystal Flash. That's going to completely fill his energy tanks and reserves, and notice how it takes up 10 of your missiles, 10 of your supers, and 10 of your power bombs, plus you need to use the power bomb to lay it. What you do is you need to have your HP has to be 50 or less, your reserve tanks have to be empty. You hold the down button and the L and R buttons while in the morph ball, and lay the power bomb, and then also hold down the shot button, whichever shot button you choose to use. I know Zeni uses the Y button for shot, Ponk uses the X button for shot. I'm actually not sure which one Sloaters uses. Okay, and there we go. There's that X factor I was talking about. Each one of those particles is going to do 300 damage should they hit. So he's got 2 of them, so that's a total of 1,200 damage per X factor, so a total of 2,400 damage. Ridley having 18,000 HP total. The beam combo that Zeni has is going to do 300 damage apiece. The supers that he used will do double damage for 600 apiece. And Zeni's going to have to reset. That Ridley fight is one of the toughest parts of this entire run. Fortunately, he did save. One of the differences you'll see in a race setting like this, as opposed to when these guys run it for a PB, is they're going to save here so that they don't have to start from the beginning. Whereas certainly in a PB setting, they're not going to save there. They'll have to start from the beginning. That Ridley fight, when you're losing energy like that, is absolutely brutal. You don't have a plasma beam to make your shot better. You have only a limited number of super missiles. And as I said, there are some safer routes you can do that have you go into Maridia earlier to pick up more of those items, more energy tanks and more super missiles that make that fight a little bit easier. But these guys, like I said, are some of the best, so they go for the hardest strats. And even noting that, even the best mess it up sometimes. And Ponk also wind those supers and Sloaters as well. So every bit of ammo helps in this run. And I'm hearing some comments about how brutal this category. It is a tough category. The two toughest categories that we have in Super Metroid is this one or toughest comedy run categories. This one and the low percent categories, low percent ice and low percent speed. The difference is this one, once you get through Norfair, there's a few difficult spots in Maridia, and then once you get past Maridia, the rest of it's pretty easy because you have all the tech. You have this because you have the screw attack. You're gonna have the space jump. You're gonna have the plasma beam. Crate is pretty much a joke in this category. Whereas the low percent categories are very back-ended heavy because you have a 200 if you get ice, a 300 shot Kraid and Mother Brain 2. And in particular the Mother Brain 2 fight where you don't get to use any super missiles on her because you have to use them to get through the Mother Brain 1 fight. So it's a very long and arduous. And now you see Zeni farming again. Ponk getting his fast pillars. Sloaters right behind him. And that is a bit of a tricky wall jump to get up there, but certainly doable. It is actually even doable without high jump boost, but very, very difficult there. And again, into that amphitheater area where that you just got to avoid that acid. That acid will kill you very quickly. To answer the who is in the lead question, right now I'd say Zeni is still in the lead despite his death. The other two, he still has that lead padded even though he died to Ridley. Ponk had died doing lava dive. So now Ponk has one extra he can compare to Zeni. So far this Ridley fight looking pretty good. Nope. This is going to be a problem. What destroys you in that fight is actually you just don't want to get hit. I mean, you're losing energy constantly. And any extra hit you take is going to just make it that much more difficult. Ponk taking that safety save. I assume Sloaters is going to do the same. It actually wouldn't surprise me if these guys had had a gentleman's agreement to make sure they took those saves because it is a marathon and we don't want to have everybody dying and not being able to finish. And having to start over from the beginning. That Ridley fight is difficult enough under normal circumstances. To be taking heat damage the entire time just makes it that much harder. Ponk making quick work of his space ninja pirates. And let's see what Floaters will do the same, I have no doubt. Zeni going back into this Ridley fight. The other two are going to basically almost catch up to him. I'd say Zeni's still a little bit in the lead. Yeah, and X factors. So the highest number of X factors I've seen, and I've seen a couple people do it. Zost is pretty good at landing 4 X factors. In any percent tournament race, I saw him and forgetting who he was playing in, or Robotallion was his opponent, and they both landed 4 X factors, which was pretty darn good. Yeah. Would it be possible to Crystal Flash during the Ridley fight? Theoretically, I think it would be, but in practice, I think that would just be way too difficult. Okay, Ponk doing his Crystal Flash. I always like how that flash lights the background up. And Sloater's about to do the same thing. And that happens in all the heated rooms when you do a crystal flash, which I think is pretty darn cool, and also another indication that some of this stuff was intended. Everybody farming at the same time. This is great. Sloater's the first to end the farm. He looks like he's going to start off with an X Factor. And now Ponk with his X Factor. They do have to be a little bit careful. These super ammo, they are going to need to do one more crystal flash to get out. You may think, yeah, oh, very nice Ridley fight by Sloaters. He's the first to get through it. Now he's just going to pick up these drops. And he's going to pick up this E-Tank. Very well placed. But this isn't over yet, and Ponk also with a very nice Ridley fight. Unfortunately for Ponk, he ended up using his reserve tank. It's not exactly ideal. But he also gets the same refill. They are going to have to farm up a little bit here anyway, because they're going to need those supers. Unfortunately, Zeni's still having trouble with Ridley. Ridley just can be a troll that way sometimes. Just going to give Ponk and Sloaters a lead. Now, Ponk and Sloaters at this point are going to want to pick up enough missiles and supers to do one more crystal flash. Ponk in a little bit better shape because these bugs here, they don't like to drop regular missiles very much. So Sloaters is still going to have to find a place to get regular missiles. Ponk has more than enough regular missiles, and now he also has enough supers and enough power bombs to do that last crystal flash they'll need to do to get out. Sloaters clipping through those pirates. Don't need to kill them on the way out. Ponk using iframes. Yeah. So one of the consequences of the route that Zeni does is he does have one less energy tank than the others, and he doesn't quite pick up as much ammo as the others. Sloater's about to do his next crystal flash. This should be the last one he needs. You'll notice he's... Oh, and he missed it. So what happened there is you have to hold that down button when you do that crystal flash. And if you deviate at all on the D-pad, which is more than possible to do, then if you move at all, then the crystal flash is not going to happen. So unfortunately for Sloaters, that takes him back to the save point and gives Ponk a clear lead here, as he's going to have to go back and kill Ridley again. Ponk was also able to get a little bit further before he had to use that crystal flash, which helped him out. Now, Elm's saying it was because of the bomb block reforming underneath him. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because the bomb block, I guess the bomb block pushed him over a little bit, and he wasn't in the right position because of it. You do have to stay absolutely still to get that crystal flash to work. So they do. You'll have noticed to answer that question about refilling on the bugs. You can go there, and they did refill a lot of their health, but doesn't quite. It's not quite fast enough to get them all the way through. They still have to do that crystal flash. It doesn't last quite long enough. And plus, they will have just picked up that energy tank at the Ridley site, so there really isn't that much energy they need to refill. Zeni taking another death at Ridley. And Sloater's looking like he's almost ready to go for his next Ridley fight. Yeah, Zeni has died to Ridley a couple times. Sloater's did not quite get his crystal flash off to get him out, and so he died in the red key hunter shaft. Ponk going back and picking up his ice beam now. He'll need this for the Maridia portion. It's like Sloaters is doing a very nice job manipulating Ridley here. Looks like he's got Ridley down. Just needs... Okay, so the problem with being picked... So the Ridley is a unique boss in that once you've damaged him down, gotten that 18,000, whether it be by 30 supers, 20 charge ice wave plasma, or 60 charge ice wave spazer, or whatever combination thereof, he needs to pick you up in order to die, or his swoop counter needs to run out. And the problem that Sloaters faced there is that he was assuming that Ridley was dead at that point, if he picks you up while he's in that pogo pattern, that's not going to be the same as getting picked up in any other situations, and so it's actually not going to kill him or kill Ridley. So Sloater's just going to have to do it again. Ponk, meanwhile, entering Suitless Maridia. You'll notice that first jump, by breaking the tube and jumping as the tube breaks, he can get himself all the way in, and thus making it easier for that first jump. Now he's going to crouch jump off that crab to that fish. Very nicely done. And he's going to kill this crab. This one is the one that one of the ones you can't kill. You need to get up here. Doing a very nice job with these crouch jumps. It turns out that if you duck and then jump, you actually jump a little bit higher, and then you do a down grab by pushing down and then grabbing the spot. Now he's going to use grapple beam to get across, which is actually the intended strat, although usually you have gravity suit. But it's actually kind of easier to do this when you don't have the gravity suit on, because you have that much more time to hit those grapple spots. I will point out that Ponk is not done with hard stuff. This next part is really fun. He's going to do what's called a grapple jump to get up to the Batwoon area, which isn't too bad with a little bit of practice. He's going to swing, and then he's going to go down and jump, down and jump, down and jump. Oh, and he messed up the rhythm in the middle of it, so he's going to have to redo it. Looks like he'll get all the way up this time. And that's one of those things I don't think was intended by the makers of this game. So this whole suitless Maridia thing, I don't believe was intended. But it's pretty cool that people figured out how to do it. So the next trick that Ponk's going to do is he's going to take this Metroid and have it follow him. He's going to freeze it, jump on top of it, and he's going to clip through these blocks. Normally you would need otherwise you would need gravity suit and speed booster to get through that. And now onto the Batwoon fight. This will take 10 supers. And if he runs out of supers, he has plenty. He can do plenty of damage with his charge beam combo. But I did a nice quick work of Batwoon there. One of the fun things about the grapple beam is it one-shots a lot of the enemies in Maridia. Ponk gonna take off his high jump boots. He's gonna pick up this E-tank. Then he's gonna do some mid-air morphs to get through this little maze area. He could choose to use some bomb jumping to get up there. Mid-air morph not being too bad if you take off those high jump boots. And now that he's through the hard parts of that, he's going to turn them back off, or turn them back on. Okay, now to get up this room, he's going to use the ice beam to freeze these Metroids to get up and get high enough so that grapple beam can get him up the rest of the way, as this is in full water. Nice recovery there, and he gets up. Now this is the hardest room they're going to do in the Maridia area. This sand is very trolly, and if you fall into it, there are hidden spikes underneath that can kill them at this point. So Ponk is going to do his best using damage boosts to try and avoid even hitting those areas. And there are places you can grapple jump here as well. Looks like he's going to do that here. And gets that nasty little block that, for beginners, is a really tough one to hit. He's going to do a safety save. Now, there is an energy refill through that door, but he actually really doesn't want to use that because he needs to damage himself down for the next strat as part of killing Dragon. You'll notice he's actually damaging himself down right now with the Metroid. Okay, in the meantime, looks like Sloaters got through his Ridley fight and he's getting Crystal Flash on his way out. Okay, he's going to damage himself more using this turret and get himself down to Crystal Flash level. The idea here is when Dragon's going to swoop down. He wants Dragon to pick him up in the middle of a Crystal Flash. So he's going to lay a power bomb. And since he heard the swoop sound, he's going to let Dragon pick him up. You notice how that wave beam is now gray? That means he got his flash shoot that he's going to want. And he's going to need to keep that. And now that he's got that, he's going to kill Dragon off the rest of the way with the grapple beam. Setting up for the quick grapple kill. And gets it. And he is going to pick up that space jump. That's going to help him get back on the reverse trip through Coliseum, and it'll help him get to other things like Plasma Beam as well. Now he's going to save that spark suit he has for leaving the next room, and he's going to do another grapple jump here off of the turrets. Now he's going to use that here, and gets out. He's pretty much done all the hardest parts now. The rest is pretty much just a boss rush. He's going to be able to space jump across here. He's going to head up to Plasma and make his way up to the wreck ship from there. Sloaters going to pick up his ice beam now that he's gotten his way through Ridley. Looks like Zeni managed to get through as well. Zeni gonna farm up some extra ammo used by killing these ninja pirates again. So Sephi, I don't think he's gonna pick up that spring ball, even though if anybody was going to, it would be Sloaters, and I believe he has the equipment to do it. without a suit. It's a very difficult trick, though. Ponk making his way up into the plasma room, which now that we're up here, we don't have to worry about the water anymore, and he falls all the way back down. But he can get back up. And here you'll see Sloaters doing that jump I talked about through the tube. His momentum take him all the way up so he can freeze that fish. If you don't make that jump and you don't have spring ball, and of course in a normal game you're not going to have spring ball, your alternatives are to use the super to shoot down a crab and freeze it to get up, or you could do a tricky set of wall jumps between the fish and the wall there to get up. Fortunately for Ponk and Sloaters, neither one of them had to do that. Ponk making quick work of the space pirates in the plasma room. They do have to be killed for you to get out. And Zeni's about to get out of his lower Norfair, so well done. So Ponk gonna make his way across to what we call the Forgotten Highway. This route here, we don't see this ever in the vanilla game, unless you're playing map completion. In the original game, the intent is for you to pick up your gravity suit at the wreck ship, pick up an E-tank, and then come down this way. But there's absolutely nothing here to pick up, so there's really no point in going this way. The faster route is always going to be to head down to the tube and just break the tube. But for RBO in particular, it is quicker since you're already going to plasma beam and you've got that, and you've got no suit to go through Maridia. It is quicker to go this way to get to wreck ship. The only other time you see this, like I said, we see it in map completion, we see it in RBO, and you occasionally you'll see randomizer runners go through this way. I don't know any category goes the forward direction of the Forgotten Highway. Sloater's doing a nice job with his bot-wound fight. It's like a 2-round. So one last little bit of water that Ponk has to deal with. And he's through. The fun part about coming into the wreck ship from behind is one of the most dangerous rooms in the game is the one that Ponk's about to enter. We call it Spiky Room of Death, and we call it that for a reason. But if the ship is not activated yet, it just becomes a walk in the park. No problem to get through there. And Zeni making his way up Maridia, doing a very nice job. I absolutely love watching people that really know what they're doing do the suitless Maridia. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Especially that climb through the main street area that Zeni just finished. And Ponk into his Fantoon fight. And he'll be able to do a little more damage because he does have charge and plasma, which does 900 damage, and that'll help make this fight go a lot quicker. Unfortunately, this category does not pick up the X-ray scope, so we can't use microwave strats here. There are routes that do pick up the X-ray scope because some people use the X-ray climb to get out of the Dragon area, but that is a much slower route because getting the X-ray It just is a slow thing indeed, unless you have the space gem and screw attack, and they don't have that till after all that stuff is done. Okay. Is Punk done with Fantoon? He's going to get right out. He does not need to pick up the gravity suit at this point. It takes too long, so it's just a waste of time. Punk making very nice work of the speed booster space gem combination there. And Sloater's setting up for his Dragon. And he gets the quick grapple kill. And doesn't quite make it through, but he's got a save, so he's good. This will allow Zeni a chance to catch up a little bit. And Sloater's saying that he messed up the audio cue on that trick, so that he decided to reset. And Ponk very smartly remembering that he still does have to kill Kraid. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that it was something about the crystal flash. I didn't quite see what he did. Okay, doesn't get the quick grapple kill. Ponk about to do his Kraid fight. Okay. So it looks like what Sloaters does is he goes ahead and damages Ridley. Damages Dragon first, and then is going to do the crystal flash to get picked up. Now, and he does it just a little bit too early. It's going to put Zeni ahead of Sloaters here. And Zeni hanging onto the turret just a little bit too long there. So he'll have to start that over. So you notice Ponk doesn't go the traditional way up. Typically in an any percent run, when you're coming up that, you're going to go up Maridia. Of course, going up Maridia when you don't have a suit is rather slow. And instead, he'll head up Red Tower. This time, Sloaters does get the quick grapple. Takes her down to enough. Now he's going to grapple again, take his energy down to Crystal Flash level. When you power bomb as Dragon's coming at you like that, she will just quickly go away and all the drops will go away. Okay, so now Sloaters is going to get grabbed. There we go. Now he's going to finish her off on the next one. With... and uses that spark to do it. Still gets the suit, so he's good to get out. Gets his space jump. Space jump being useless in the water if you don't have gravity suit, so he won't be able to. So if you're wondering why ponk didn't use that to get out, that's why. Zeni also getting his Dragon kill. He's going to also pick up his space jump. And they're going to do the grapple jump out. One thing I will point out the grapple jump is you do want to grab that turret has 2 blocks you can grab. You want to grab the lower block in order to get out. So it activates a suit and gets out. Zeni also getting out. You don't want to fall here because you want to be space jump all the way across here. With screw attack, it's pretty easy to space jump all the way across. Those mock Troys will be destroyed if you hit them. And Zeni right behind. Ponk, in the meantime, the first to get to G4 and head down into Torian. And at this point, there's not a whole lot of difference between what Ponk is doing and what you would see in a typical run. The one exception being that he will use the stand-up glitch, which is not something you're going to see in an any percent run, because to do stand-up glitch, you need to have 7 E-tanks. He's got more than enough to do that, though. And if you've watched Hundo runs, you've seen stand-up glitch there. Doing a nice job in the first Metroid room. Meanwhile, Sloaters and Zeni both going for their plasma beams. And at this point, there's not a whole lot of divergence between what Ponk did and what Sloaters and Zeni are going to do. All the divergence has already happened. Now Punk's going to go for what's called a baby skip. So what's supposed to happen is the baby's supposed to latch onto him and drain his energy all the way down to 1 HP. Turns out you can jump around the baby, something that doesn't work real well without high jump boots. But he's got high jump and space jump, so he'll be able to go for it here. And let's see if he can get it. Also helps that he's got the full beam combo, that wave beam being very useful to get rid of that grass or whatever that stuff is called to get out. And he gets it. Okay, we have a little bit of internet trouble, I suspect, but we're back. Ponk gonna go ahead and save here. I suspect this is just in case something weird happens with stand-up glitch. Stand-up glitch being a glitch, there are ways to soft lock doing stand-up glitch, so I suspect that's why the save. Meanwhile, Zeni and Sloaters making their way through the Forgotten Highway, so they can backdoor Bantoon. Weatherbrain 1 taking 6 projectiles to open the glass, either supers or regular missiles, and then just needs 3,000 damage after that. It's mostly usually done with supers. And now with the full beam combo, it's just going to be 20 shots. Weatherbrain will attack with all these little, what we call different condiments, onion rings, French fries. Some people call those meatballs. I've also heard those called tater tots. There's a french fry coming out of her eyeball, and then the onion rings coming out, the blue things. And then that deadly beam there, that's the one you don't want to get hit by. It's the ketchup beam. And Pong needs to make sure he stays above 600, 700 to do stand-up glitch, which he does nicely, and 600 to survive. Because this rainbow beam, the one thing that Varia does that Gravity Suit does not, is it protects you against the rainbow beam. So with Varia Suit, he takes 300 damage on that rainbow beam. Without Varia Suit, he takes 600. And for stand-up glitch to work, he needs to be in the air. You'll notice he was jumping while the Metroid latched on. So he needs to be in the air when the Metroid latches on. And there's going to be one more moment where he's going to want to be in the air, right when the Metroid detaches. So you see how he jumps there? He starts, once Mother Brain turns that sickly gray color, he can start damaging her with the Charge Ice Wave Plasma combo. You'll notice that moment when the Metroid detached, right after he started shooting, he made sure he was in the air in order not to soft lock. If you do this well enough, you can actually get down to just one-shotting Mother Brain 3 at the end. In the meantime, both Zeni and Sloaters finishing up their Fantoon fights. And we get to the sad moment of the baby sacrificing itself for Samus. And I believe that was just 2 shots there, so very nice stand-up glitch. And now it's just the escape. And for those of you that don't know Ponk, he will go save the animals. The only time I've ever seen him not save the animals was when he was doing a charity event and the money came in for Kill the Animals. The only other time is Ponk, also well known for his blindfolded runs. And his first 9.5-hour blindfolded run, he hadn't quite figured out how to save the animals, but it being an important thing to him, he figured it out for the next run. Punk doing one last moonfall in the escape and gets it. Now he'll be able to shine spark up the shaft. It's the so-called behemoth spark. Nicely done. And there he goes down to save those animals. And the animals are safe. And now it's just a matter of getting back up. It looks like Punk's gonna possibly show off some other stuff here. Looks like he's going for some of those RBO stats, the full reverse boss order where you start with Mother Brain. Oh my god. What are you doing, Punk? I'm not going to be able to do all of it because he doesn't have X-ray, but the idea being getting caught in this door and doing an X-ray climb that allows you to go back to the save room in Red Tower. Not sure why he's trying to show that off here. But he's got something to show us, so let's see what he's got, if he can get it. And he's gonna try again. chat yelling at Ponk to just finish the run. He will finish. Don't. Yeah, Steffi's right, or antinomy, I should say, for those of you who don't know antinomy. He will finish. Meanwhile, Sloaters and Zeni both done with their crate fight. They're gonna head back up to finish in Turian. And there it is. Ponk is done. GG to Ponk, our winner. Very, very nice, clean run from him. And now it's just a question of who's going to finish first, Sloaters or Zeni. And it's pretty close between the two, Zeni being a little bit ahead. Neither one of them is likely to stop at the ship here. Okay, and Zeni about to have his nice last little break. Waiting while the G4 statues do their thing. Confirming that he has killed all 4 bosses. Shout out to these guys for not skipping anyone. So Sloaters being about a G4 cutscene behind, about half a G4 cutscene behind Zeni here. So we're gonna have a nice close finish here. Unfortunately for Sloaters, it will be hard for him to catch up if Zeni doesn't make a mistake. But there are a lot of places here where things can go wrong. If for instance, Zeni misses the baby skip and Sloaters gets it, that would potentially make things really close again. And thank you, Dr. Rockstar. Thank you for that compliment there. I really appreciate it. Zeni making quick work of the Metroid rooms. Sloaters 2 rooms behind him, also moving very quickly through. Very, very nice Metroid rooms. It's always fun when you watch, especially in that Metro Room 3, you'll see that it almost looks like he doesn't change that beam. And it just manages to change from the regular beam to the super missile so quickly. And Zeni gets his baby skip. Nicely done. And now Sloater's going for his baby skip, and he also gets it. Zeni going for the down back zeb skip method. The major advantage of that is you don't have to go into the menu and turn off screw attack. It is a slightly more difficult way of doing the zeb skip. I think Sloaters might be going for a speed. Let's see. Yep. Sloaters going for the speed zeb skip and gets it. First try. Nicely done. And Zeni making quick work with Mother Brain 1. And now it'll just be 20 shots for him. Zeni has to be a little more careful not to get hit. If he does, he will lose his opportunity for stand-up glitch. Plus, he can pop those reserves to get back up there if he needs to. And he's got to be even more careful if he does not want to go below that 600 threshold under any circumstances, or he has to reset here. Sloater's doing a little bit better with his health count. Fortunately, it doesn't take very long to do the 20 shots here. And although the catcher beams are the most deadly, they are also the easiest to foresee. Is he choosing to use some bomb jumps to stay up? No, he's just doing a little extra bomb jumping. Is he's setting up for his stand-up glitch. Floater's getting his first rainbow beam. He'll be doing it too. As then he's starting to shoot a little bit early. I don't believe you can actually damage Mother Brain until she's that gray color. And there we go. Now he can start doing the damage. Yeah, Plasma does 900 damage. Those 21 missiles doing only 100 damage. So, yeah, not really worth it. Yeah, so the baby cutscene starts when you get below 100. It's a little bit different with stand-up glitch. There's a little bit more leeway there. As then you're getting one shot on Mother Brain 3. So it just looks like he has to do a few more shots. And Elm with the knowledge that it is different when you have different suits, so that makes sense. And Zeni in the escape. Floaters will be right behind. I don't expect either one of these two to save the animals. That's purely a ponk thing. While they're doing the escape, let me run down what's coming up next. After this, we're going to have a Soul Blazer randomizer by Lei Hulk and Jin Tatsu 2. And then after that, we have Super Adventure Island and Super Adventure Island 2, 80%, also by Lei Hulk. So stay tuned for those. And a whole lot of other good stuff. Some Mega Man after that, some Super Mario World randomizer, some Link to the Past randomizer. All upcoming on this channel. Mega Man 7, Yoshi's Island. All upcoming. So stay tuned to the Speed Gaming channel to watch the upcoming. It looks like Zeni went to tease the animals, but not to save them. And Sloater's also going down there. That might have been a gentleman, since these three are very good friends. And Sloaters is going to save them. And Zeni's done. And Sloater's going to just meme it up a little bit before he goes. And a very nice run from all these guys. So GG to Sloaters and GG to Zeni. So that should be it for me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting this wonderful marathon, and SNES Superstars for holding this marathon, and for allowing us to showcase some of our really nice, really good runners here, and a very, very tough category. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to chat. Um, and again, go ahead and stay tuned for the Soul Blazer randomizer. Should be a lot of good time. And my name is Tracy, and I will see you all in other Super Metroid stuff, and hopefully staying tuned for the rest of this marathon.